Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Hope you're having a great day. Today we're at Holmes Honda in Shreveport, Louisiana to see if we can answer the question, is the 2023 Honda Pilot better than ever? The Pilot starts for 2023 with a base price of $36,300. You will go with either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. This is the touring trim level we're looking at today. It comes with front-wheel drive in this particular case. You will find all-wheel drive to be standard if you go with the Elite or Trail Sport trim levels. The full redesign for 2023 brings about a more squared off look, and while it's a little more squared off than what we saw in the previous generation, it still has some nice body lines, some nice roundedness to it, to a degree that at least doesn't allow it to have the exact characteristics of a brick. So still looking very nice. It definitely looks a little wider and a little lower to the ground because of the wider front grille. You're going to see that comes in gloss black with that large Honda logo there in the center. A lot of LED lighting, and you'll notice the difference in the positioning of the turn signal indicators. We also have the LED fog lights down there. Honda Sensing is also here. As far as adaptive cruise control, road departure, lane keeping assist, all those good features are here, and you'll also find the active air curtains. You should be able to see through, I think, as far as that goes here on the front end. Now, we talked about earlier the fact that this model is front-wheel drive. Let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size. The width of the tire is going to be 255, so a good bit of tread on the ground, a 50 series sidewall wrapped around the 20-inch wheels. And we'll work our way up onto the power adjustable heated side view mirrors with body colored mirror caps. This is platinum white, and you'll see right here you're going to have blind spot monitoring built in, as well as the turn signal indicator. The remote is a smart key. It has the walk away feature, and it has another feature that I know a lot of you like, which is going to be right there, remote start. The roof rails up there add quite a bit of functionality and really more storage capacity, because you can obviously get the crossbars, store things up there. Let's not get tongue twisted now. And then we'll have the body color shark fin antenna. We'll finish things off here with the rear roof spoiler and a nice look with the tail lights. And obviously, as you can see right here, this is a power tailgate. It is hands-free. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you how that works. A very simple system to use. You can swipe your foot across, or you can just kick underneath the bumper. That makes it very simple. A lot of functions here, functionality, good features. You've got the 12-volt power outlet. But one thing that's interesting, let's say that maybe you don't want to use the feature down here where it's hands-free, and you have a ton of groceries back here or whatever you have, and you're kind of like me and you like to make one trip into the house and you grab everything. Well, then what? Well, here's another option. You can push this. That is going to allow for the rear tailgate here, the lift gate, to close when you walk away. It's called the walk away feature. Notice I'm just standing here for a few seconds, and now I'm going to walk away. I didn't touch anything else other than that button. What it does is, as long as you stand there, that tailgate is not going to close until you walk away. So a lot of nice features and functionality there as far as that goes. Some good options to consider. Another change for 2023 is going to be found right here under the hood. It's still a 3.5 liter V6 from Honda, but it's not the VTEC. This is a dual overhead cam version of the Honda V6. And what exactly does that mean? Well, without going into a lot of difficult to understand information for some people, I'll just tell you this. It's more efficient. It operates a little more smoothly than what the VTEC did. Now, it's only making 5 more horsepower, 285, 262 pounds-feet of torque. That remains the same, but something else that has changed for 2023 is the fact that it is now mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, specifically tuned for the Pilot, as opposed to the outgoing 9-speed automatic transmission. And let's talk a little bit about MPGs. 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and Honda says you should use 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. And as far as towing with the Pilot goes, there are 2 different numbers, and this is going to be dependent on whether or not you have front wheel drive or all wheel drive. Those numbers are 3,500 up to 5,000 pounds with all wheel drive. Front wheel drive obviously will be the 3,500. And how about cargo capacity? I do have the rear seats in their down position, folded down position right now. 18.6 to 86.5 up to 87 cubic feet. And depending on trim level, you can remove this middle seat right here. I'll go ahead and put that down for you real quick, and we'll do the same thing right here. Some people tell me they like to see everything folded down. I don't know why, because if you fold one seat down or one on each area, it really shouldn't matter. But that's what people have requested at times, and so I'm going to try and honor that. I do have a video where I show you how easy it is to remove that middle row seat. Now, let's see here if we can do this. Somebody got real lazy here at the dealership and did not put this floor in correctly. But you know what I'm going to do? Well, first of all, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to put the floor down correctly right here. Underneath, quite a bit of storage capacity. If you're wondering about a spare tire, it is underneath the vehicle, as I think we can show you right there. Hopefully it gives you a good view. But here's the thing I like about the floor. You have the plastic side right here, or depending on what you need to do or want to do, let's see how talented I am one-handed. We'll see if I can put this back in. I think I can. Maybe, maybe not. Let's find out. We're gonna show you in real time. There we go. Got the floor down. You also have the carpeted side. So a two-sided floor. So if you're going to do something that involves plants or whatever the case is back here, something that can get dirt or stand on the carpet, obviously you can turn that over and take advantage of the plastic side. And your rear seat passengers, at least sitting in the middle row, will be greeted by upper and lower door bins. A lot of storage capacity here, cup holders, quite a bit going on. You do have the privacy shades to be used. On the passenger side over there, the privacy shade is in place. And I like how easy it is to gain access to the back seat. All you do is push this button, but I did want to show one thing quickly here, which is the fact that you can move the seats back and forth. That has advantages to potential leg space, but to gain access here, all we do is push that button and the seat literally just moves itself out of the way. Makes it a lot easier to gain access into the rear seating area right here. Now see, here's what I was talking about. You have a few options here as far as where these seats can be positioned. Now, with the seats all the way back, well, I still have some leg room. I still have a decent amount of headspace at 5'10", so that'll tell you right there what the situation is. Air conditioning vents for everybody. We also have a couple of cup holders here and USB connectivity as well. So quite a bit going on for the front, or the rear seat passengers. And by the way, if the middle row seat passengers jump out and forget anyone's back here, well, all they have to do is push that seat, and once again, it just gets right out of the way. And before we get into the middle row, let's take a look at what you have right here. Something I know a lot of you were wanting with the Pilot for 2023. Gone is the conventional size sunroof in favor of the panoramic sunroof. And you already saw that you can fold the seat down right here as an armrest and cup holders. But let's do this. Let's see here. It is fairly low, so just one of those things. It's just the way it's designed, but you can take advantage of it with the cup holders and space right here. And obviously a lot more going on back here in the way of more air conditioning vents, a lot of connectivity throughout the vehicle. Quite a bit going on here, that's for sure. Tri-zone climate control. Let's hop into the front seat and see what driver and passenger in that area are going to find. And once again, just as was the case in the rear seating area, upper and lower door bins. And let's see, let's give it the armrest test. As far as the armrest goes, that is comfortable, nice soft touch materials. Power seats for the driver and the passenger, heated only in this particular case. As you can see what we have as far as additional storage space above the glove box. Speaking of the glove box, let's open that and take a look. A lot of space, very deep. This model does come with dealer installed wheel locks. So you're going to go here and find the wheel lock key, which is what this is, to get that off. If you ever need to use that spare tire in the back that we talked about earlier and showed earlier, And then here is the dual zone climate control in the front. We have the third zone in the rear. Now in this particular case, you only have the heated seats, but that's just what's on this model. We also have more connectivity up here, the USB and 12-volt options, as well as the wireless charging pad. Now you do have the push button shifter right here. So that's something that some people like, some people don't. You also have the mode selector right here, and I likely don't need to tell you too much more about what is there. Now we talked about the armrest in the middle seat area, maybe not being quite as high as it could be, but it just depends on who you are. Here in the front seat area, however, I find that the armrest right here that doubles as the lid for the center console is actually in a pretty good position. At least for me at 5'10", these seats obviously can be lowered if necessary, and there is a lot of space within that area. And here is how you're going to control the power sunroof, the tilt and slide open feature. You also have, let's see if we can get that, here we go. This is where you open and close it. This is for the shade. I just wanted to show you that that is there, that you can bring that forward. So that way, when it's really hot and the sun's glaring into the interior, you can fix that problem. And here on the driver's side door, pretty much the same thing we saw on the passenger side, with the exception of all the switches and controls here for the side view mirrors and for the windows. And then we're going to have the settings for seat memory, two different settings for the driver's seat only. I really believe that you should have that on both sides. Don't think that's too hard to add, and I can't imagine it would add that much more to the price, but I don't really know. And then here you have, with your front wheel drive Pilot, you're going to have traction control. You can turn that on or off, and then you can control the power tailgate right there. You do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel too. And then we have everything here with the new digital dashboard. A very nice look, very simple to use. You can go through all sorts of information here depending on what you need to know or see. Here are the steering wheel mounted controls. Obviously your adaptive cruise control here. You'll control the seldom used blinkers, at least here in Northwest Louisiana, right here, as well as turning the headlights on and off and the fog lights on and off. And then we're going to have our 9-inch touchscreen right here. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility. It is wireless. You do not need anything such as the USB cable to use that, so that's good. You also have built-in navigation, or if you pair your phone, obviously you can use whatever app is on your phone depending on what you like to use. We also have vehicle settings right here that has the graphics that look very nice as far as that goes. Quite a bit here, that's for sure. And then let's go back, and you have general settings as well. So quite a bit that you can go through and change depending on what you need to do. We can also go into reverse and see the multi-view rear view camera. And depending on what your options are, what trim level you have, you can have a lot more than just the rear view camera. That really makes a nice difference. And we looked at the mode selector earlier. Let's take a look at exactly what our modes are. So there's normal. I'll let you see the graphics as we go through. There's econ. We'll move on to snow. Underneath that is going to be tow. And then we'll go all the way back up here to sport mode. And that rounds out our driving modes. And one more thing I wanted to do is let you hear the Bose 12-speaker audio system. Let's take a listen. Okay, we don't want to go too far with that. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of what it sounds like. Probably not the best demonstration off of my lapel mic, but it's the best we can do. Okay, now that we're out on the road for the test drive, a very enjoyable driving experience. For its size, I feel like the Pilot handles very well. It has a nice turning radius for what it is. It's easy to see out of, but even with looking over your shoulder and your blind spot, hopefully you do that when you drive. I know I still do, even with blind spot monitoring, but the good thing is that you have blind spot monitoring here, so that helps in those situations. It really alleviates any issues where it might be a little challenging to see in certain areas, but really a pretty easy vehicle to see out of. Very enjoyable driving experience. The interior is comfortable and spacious, and the ride quality is good, at least based by my personal standards. That's one of the things I like to tell people in these test drives. You really need to drive these vehicles for yourself, because what I might consider a comfortable ride quality, you might say, well, that's better than what you said, or it's not as good as what you said. It really depends on your personal experience as to what you're used to. So just things to keep in mind. That's where I feel like, as far as these videos on YouTube go where we feature these vehicles, the test drive is probably the least applicable to those watching, just because you really need to drive these vehicles for yourself to find out what you personally think. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. The technology here is easy to learn, easy to use, absolutely no problem where that's concerned. Don't let that scare you away, especially if you have a smartphone. If you can master your smartphone, you'll have no trouble here. And even beyond that, it's just very simple to use, that's for sure. So overall, a really nice vehicle, spacious interior for driver and passengers, and a spacious cargo area, that's for sure. The one thing I would like to try sometime is towing with one of these models. Tell me what you think. Have you towed? If you have, what has your experience been? Share that down in the comments section. I'm curious to know, and I'm sure other people are as well.